This goes back several years when Kathy and I were first married, and I was in my first full-time appointment as a pastor. And at that time, I wanted to do something special for her at Christmas. Kathy had grown up in a home where there was always a live tree, and she loves the smell of pine. And so I wanted to surprise her and took her to a little tree farm called Timbuk, just a little north of Lancaster, Ohio. And while we were there, we found a beautiful, perfectly crafted white pine. And I wanted a tall tree. I wanted to make a statement this year, you know? So we bought a 9.5-foot tree. Yeah. And it went on my little Subaru, on the top of my little Subaru. And here I was with this big tree that stretched out beyond the front and back of my car. And so we're going down the freeway, and we make it home safely. And we then take the tree, and it took us a good half hour just to get it through the door. And we finally managed, and we had this vaulted ceiling. And so I wanted a tree that went up to the sky, and so I planted it and put it right into the stand. Of course, it didn't fit. So I came up with Plan B. And Plan B was to cut the stem off on the bottom and shorten the tree a little bit and maybe narrow the diameter. And the problem was, again, we were newly married. I didn't have a lot of power tools, nor did I have a bandsaw. I improvised. Being in the military, that's what we do. So I borrowed my wife's electric carving knife. Do you want to know the rest of the story? Okay, so this tree had been in freezing weather for the better part of 2 weeks, and so I was trying to cut into this thing. It took me the better part of an hour to finally get through, and once I did, it was uneven, and so I thought, no, I'm gonna try, and so I put it in the tree stand, and it began listing at about 15 degrees. How do I know that? I measured. So Kathy said, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, I have Plan C. So Plan C is to take some fishing line, because I did have a fishing pole, and then take it around the top and then fasten it to the plaster walls. So we did that, and it worked until we went out to dinner. We came back. The tree was no longer standing, but our two dogs were very happy. They had somehow managed to pull the tree out of its moorings, leaving holes in the wall, and one of the dogs had the angel in its mouth. The other dog had strewn ornaments, glass ornaments, all over the house. These arboreal demolition crew, they decided to take this tree and just literally dismantle it from limb to limb. And I walked in and I thought, oh, now on to Plan D. So I said to my wife, I said, you know, we have to take the dogs to the vet because I'm afraid maybe that one of them ingested some glass. And so we took the dogs to the vet, and this was after hours. And so I told the vet the story. He didn't flinch. And I went ahead and said, now, I want you to know what happened. And he took x-rays of both dogs. He said, they're fine. I said, great. He said, that'll be $400. And so we went back home, and it was a long ride. And I turned to my wife and I said, I'm sorry, I really tried to make this a special day. She said, you did. This is a day I'll never forget. And I just said to myself, you know, gosh, now I've really done it. I'm out $400. I owe my wife a new electric carving knife, and my dogs now are now vicious creatures, and I said to myself, I'll never do this again. And I never did.